1 week ago, the newest addition to the ever-expanding corporate product known as the MCU was released, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. In this must-she series, She-Hulk must learn the steep task of becoming the next Shiro in the MCU. And in this video, I designed 2 sets based on this new series, with 2 sets containing 7 new minifigures, 1 big fig, and a boatload of new builds and references to this show. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off with set 21822, the Accessory Pack. For the first minifigure, we have the main character of this must-she series, Jennifer Walters, Attorney at Law, as She-Hulk, but in a casual outfit. This figure uses a face with green-colored eyes, so I felt it was appropriate for this figure. She also has a new torso to match her outfit in the first episode. She has an alternative smiling face, and her accessories are a cell phone and a handbag. Next up, we have Smart Hulk. Now before any of you comment, why isn't this a big fig? I'm in your walls. Before any of you ask why this figure isn't a big fig, the big fig piece just, obviously, doesn't fit into the packaging. So I made the figure a normal figure like the 2015 polybag. The only new print is his face print, which I think captures Mark Ruffalo's likeness pretty well. Flipping the head around, we can see a more worried expression, perhaps capturing a certain moment from episode 1, as well as a glass flask as an accessory. Last but not least, we have everyone's favorite Sorcerer Supreme, Wong. This figure is the exact same one included in the Garganto set, but with one key difference. The face is a redesign. The face included for Wong in modern Marvel sets isn't the best, so I chose to update it, and I'm very proud of this likeness. Flipping the head around, you can see a new smiling expression, and for his accessory, I gave him his bladed weapon he uses in Multiverse of Madness. Moving on to the first and arguably less interesting build of the set, we have a build based on the training scene in episode 1. I included 2 boulder pieces, one for each of the Hulks in the set, and the boulders easily slot to the foliage area, which uses a ton of plant pieces to provide the scenery in said scene. And this build actually has a play feature. By pressing the red knob at the back, the boulders will be launched. I'm quite proud of this little build, and I think it gets the job done well. Moving on to the far more interesting build of the set, we have the anti-homeless She-Hulk bench. This build was so much fun to make, mainly for the new print, which recreates the detail on the actual bench. While I'm definitely overstepping with the amount of prints in this set, I knew I had to make the anti-homeless She-Hulk bench in LEGO, and perfect it at that. Moving on from the print, I'm proud of the techniques used for the bench. The bench back is built on a hinge, and the arms are built in 2 separate parts to capture the shape. And the most important detail, the anti-homeless part of the you get it. This part is made from green bars, which I think is a nice touch. Overall, I'm really proud of the set, but in my opinion, it doesn't hold a candle to the next set. And that set is 218... Man, And that set is 21980, She-Hulk and Daredevil Team Up. This set has 487 pieces and a boatload of little she-tails that I hope you will all enjoy. Without further ado, let's get on to the minifigures. First up, we have Jennifer Walters, this time in her actual She-Hulk outfit. I'm so unbelievably proud of this figure. This figure is covered from head to toe in new prints. The figure has new designs for the torso, hip, legs, arms, and face, although the face is a reuse from the accessory pack. For her accessories, I gave her the same bag and phone piece she had in that pack. Next up, we have everyone's second favorite lawyer, Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. This figure is inspired by his yellow suit from the TV spot and trailer we see him in, although the base of the suit is unmistakably the Netflix Daredevil suit. Designing this figure was super fun, and I very much enjoyed adapting his iconic suit into minifigure form. I chose to use the regular yellow for the suit because flame orange was a bit too orangey for this figure. This figure uses the same mask system as the Daredevil figure in the Daily Bugle, and for his accessory, I gave him his 2 staffs. Now, the man, the myth, the legend, Frogman. Frogman in She-Hulk was a nice surprise for this show, despite not appearing yet. His costume looks super neat, and I was super excited to translate him into LEGO form. I only gave him a new torso, as I feel like leg and arm detailing weren't as necessary for this figure. However, this figure does have dual molded arms and legs. However, the most important part of this minifigure, the helmet, which is probably my best custom mold yet. Using the Invincible Iron Man helmet as a base, I molded it to be more accurate to the helmet shape in the show, as well as adding the frog light eyes, and adding a gap in his helmet for his actual eyes. Under the helmet is the standard Resistance Trooper face they use in every Star Wars set at this point. This figure has a few accessories, a ray gun like he has in the comics, a bag of gems of which he's presumably stealing, and a stand piece which connects to a neck bracket, which was inspired by the Avengers Endgame Iron Man polybag. Last, but certainly not least, we have Abomination, who is a big fig this time. His design was definitely one of the trickiest ones, but I think I did a pretty good job with it. This big fig uses Thanos' new mold from the 2021 Avengers Endgame compound battle. But the head has gills molded into the side to match the shape of Abomination's head. This head uses a new print, which also has colored eyes, much like Walter's. The whole figure uses tan for its tendrils and chest plates, and has dark green for the marks in his body, and to top it off, a loincloth to hide the Abomination. A loincloth to complete the look. Overall, I'm really proud of how this big fig turned out, and that's all for the minifigures. Wait, why have we stopped? It's time for the... And now for the final figure of the set, we have Saul Goodman, here to tell you you've got rights. While I've never seen Better Call Saul, or Breaking Bad, I thought it would be funny to include another lawyer in the set. As I said, Matt is everyone's second favorite lawyer, but Saul is everyone's favorite. This figure has new prints for his suit design, and a new face which I think matches Bob Odenkirk's likeness very well. Speaking of Bob Odenkirk and key body features, one of his accessories is a phone with a certain picture from a certain Instagram account on it. That can't be related in any way. And a Lego recreation of the document that says you have rights, the US Constitution. And now that we're really done with the figures, we can move on to the set. Starting off with the smallest build, we have a little roadblock that I designed, and while they're simple, I'm proud of how they turned out. Anyways, the next build we have is the street corner, which is heavily inspired off the Ghost Rider set from 2016. The build uses a few plates for the base and a built-up sidewalk with some rock formations. On the right, we have a trash can with flippers, presumably for Frogman, and a little piece of Shatari tech. And on the left, we not only have a little spot to put minifigures on, we have some small bin builds. One being a newspaper bin, with a print on the side referencing Spider-Man, and the newspaper sticker that LEGO Marvel has been milking for all it's worth. And next to it, we have a recycling bin with a frog on it. No references intended there. Moving up a little, we can see another reference to the web-slinger himself, as well as a little reference to the Sanctum Sanctorum, with a sign saying Bleecker Street. On top of the traffic light build, we have a little stand to pose figures on. For now, the figure posed on it is Daredevil. Next up, we have a build for the van Hulk and Jennifer crash in the first episode. I wanted to include some small references to the color scheme of Jen and Bruce, hence why we have some purple and green in places. One side of the car is definitely more beat up than the other. One side is covered in flames and broken glass, whereas the other side is mostly unscathed. I also gave the roof a hinge to give it a sort of busted-in/dented look. Now, for the main build of the set, we have the Sicarion Ship that appears in Episode 1 for 6 seconds. Yeah, I really thought this would have a bigger role in the series when designing it. Anyways, I thought it would be fun to build. Seeing as we already got a Sicarion Ship in 2017, this set is very similar to that, but there are many differences. I changed a lot of the detailing to better match the shaping of this model, as well as changing the color scheme from red and yellow to black and gold. The ship uses many pieces that just simply put didn't exist in 2017 to give it a more sleek and accurate shape, as well as the center of the ship having a purple rim that we see on said ship. Moving on to the back of the ship, we can see more of the gold detailing, as well as a hatch that swings open, where you can put any accessories you want in. The only accessory that fit in probably belonged to Frogman, but we're going to ignore that. There's also 2 sets of stud shooters, which can obviously be fired by pressing down on the hinge up top. You know how these work. Looking at the bottom of the ship, we can see many clear inverted tiles which help it float when it's placed on the floor. However, you'll notice a gap in the rear end of the ship, and if you know the 2017 set, you'll know this is a play feature from that exact set. By putting a figure in the hatch, say She-Hulk in this instance, and pushing on the little circular button up top, you can drop She-Hulk into battle. And that's it for the build. Let's get on to the box arts and then the end of the video. The box arts for these sets took a lot of time to figure out. They're far more detailed than that of the Hell of a Boss set, but despite that, I'm still really proud of how these turned out. And that's all for today's video. I know this video is very different to my first one, but I hope you all enjoyed it regardless. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!